Alright, it's deep dive time. So we're going to focus on Go-Shintai, Life's Origins, or as I like to call it, Shrining Moments. So we're going to jump over to the folks at Moxfield and be able to show you what we got worked up. Your commander for this deck is Go-Shintai of Life's Origins. And if you wasn't here for the deck tech that we had at the beginning of the month, well, we'll break it down real quick for you for the commander. Go-Shintai Life's Origins costs 4, a green, and 3. So you ask how it's a $5 or how it's a 5-color commander? Well, this right here is why it's a 5-color commander, because we can pay a white, a blue, a black, a red, and a green. Tap it and we get to return a target enchantment card from our graveyard to the battlefield. And it also has that whenever it comes into a battlefield or another non-token shrine enters the battlefield under your control, you create a 1/1 colorless shrine enchantment creature token. So it's also important that stuff like changelings or shapeshifters doesn't have shrines that comes over with it. So if you're thinking about that idea, that's not going to work. Because technically, this is a subtype, or shrines are subtypes of enchantments. So it's not a creature type, so it won't be going over to those changelings or anything like that. I know it's superficial, it's kind of crazy about that. This is a 3/4 body. This guy puts in some work with this deck because we're playing all the shrines. Talking about shrines, you end up having that being your base of your deck is your shrines. So why don't I hit this little enable tags, and that'll also help us out nicely break down everything that we have in the deck. So we have 16 shrines in here altogether. These are going to end up triggering our commander, and each shrine ends up having a different effect and also has a different time that effect takes place. Such as this one right here is at the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1. When you do, destroy a target creature toughness of X or less, where X is the number of shrines. So at our end step, we could pay 1, and we could deal X amount of damage based off, or to that creature's toughness based off the number of shrines that we have on the battlefield. So that's at end step. This is also at end step, so the Go-Shintais are also at end step. Handens, however, are at different time. It's at your upkeep, so it's right at the game when you draw your card. That's when that goes off. This lets another shrine go off twice. And then I believe the Sanctum. Yep, our pre-combat main phase. So our first main phase that we'll be able to go. That's what we're going to have before combat. And that's what we're going to be having. So we have 3 different types of triggers that it ends up going off. It goes over into our upkeep, first main phase, and then at our end step. All those is the different phases that it goes on. Big importance that we keep up onto that. But we also have tutors that allows us to tutor out certain stuff that we have within the deck. We mainly try to look out for more shrines or other stuff that we end up needing. So we have a daily tutor, search for Gory, Captain Sensei, and Wargate to do all that tutoring for us. Yes, we have access to black, so we can end up having the best tutors that we ended up going with. But I kind of wanted to go for the more flavorful. Plus, black isn't our main color. Our main color is green and white. So I tried to end up going down that path as well. So shenanigans is a Celestial Dawn, where we can end up all of our lands control our planes. But we can pay a planes to be able to cast the card. So no matter what the mana cost is, it will cost us the planes converts over to the mana place. So, like this, Sanctum of the Sting of Flames, instead of costing black, it's going to cost a white. So it's going to cost 2 white to be able to play. Removal-wise, we have Kenrith Transformation, Imprison the Moon, Generous Gift, Darksteel Mentation, and Beast Within. Beast Within and Generous Gifts are instant spells that ends up making a token for it. Steel or Darksteel Mentation, Imprison the Moon, and Kenrith traps that being whatever it is. So if you end up putting in a commander, It won't be able to be put into command zone because it's not killing it, it's not dying, it's just being switched over, it's going to be put underneath there. So it's a good way of getting rid of a pesky commander as well. With most decks, you like to have a little bit of recursion, which we have 3 pieces of recursion in the deck. Brilliant Restoration, Open the Vaults, and Resurgent Belief are all the ones that we ended up going with. And then we have Ramp. We have Amulet of Vigor. Might not seem like Ramp right off the bat, but when your gates that we have in the deck come into play untapped, it's a way to be able to ramp out stuff at a faster clip that you would normally end up going with. Of course, it allows us to play a land off the top, and we'll gain a life for it. So it allows us a ramp to try to get as much of that land drop that we can end up having. Fertile Ground allows us to tap for more colors. Juku Nationalist is also a cost reduction. So with that cost reduction, I kind of toss that underneath a ramp. This gives us 2 green. This allows us to tap for any kind of mana based off the number of enchantments that we control. Smothering Tide is one of those that's a little iffy, but it's ramp because you end up getting a treasure for each time a person doesn't pay the 2 whenever they draw a card. This also includes the first card that they draw. So if they draw a card and they don't pay the 2, you end up getting that treasure token. Wild Growth is just added another green. Then sometimes you get behind, so you want to be trying to catch back up or trying to take out everyone. You have Farewell, Supreme Verdict, Vanquish, or Horde, being all board wipes that we have in the deck. I'll skip that one real quick and we'll go over to the fixing. This allows us to fix our colors that we have in the deck. Abundant Growth, Carpet of Flowers, Circulus Route, Dryad of Elysian Grove, Open the Gates, Serene Skyne, Timeless Lotus, and Trace of Abundance. These are all tapped for any kind of mana or be able to hunt for any kind of mana that we're looking for. With a 5-color deck, you want to have as much fiction as you can, trying to be able to cast that spell. And then we're going to come up to the final part of the deck, the Enchantress effect. This is going to be when you end up drawing cards for whenever you play enchantments. So our Eidolon Blossoms, Enchantress Presence, and Sethis the Harvest Hands allow us to draw a card, and in this case, gain a life for whenever we play that enchantment spell. Switch gears and head back over for our final thoughts about the deck. Final thoughts of the deck is, oh man, I keep on forgetting to take off the organic price books thing. Son of a gun. Well, if you happen to be looking at organic price books and you're looking for comics, go to organicpricebooks.com. Use the affiliate code AffiliateJack to save $2 off. Also, if you have 4 or more books, you can just put the code Jacket together to save 5% off instead. Alright, so I got that. So with the deck, it has a nice way that you're ramping. You're trying to fix for 5 colors, so it's making it a little bit more difficult. Our main colors is green and white, both being at the higher percentage of it. The other ones normally try to fall off with the mana fixing that we end up having. So the main thing that we're going to be running is green, because that's also the common color for fixing. You want to make a bunch of shrines because, well, you want more trigger effects of your shrines. And the biggest thing that you got to keep up with it is keeping track of what shrines that you have and when those shrines trigger. Like I said, we got 3 different ways that they end up, or 3 different times that they trigger. We have the upkeep, first main phase, and then that's your end step. So you got to be keeping track of what shrines that you have, which could be a tedious little thing, but overall it can end up being a little bit fun, can end up going over with it. There's also ways that you can end up milling yourself out, so you got to be aware of what you end up having on the board as well. There's a couple shrines that work together that can end up milling like crazy. And with the recursion factor, sometimes we will take the mill because we can end up bringing back the stuff, especially with Go-Shintai. How's this deck? What did you think of it? Let us know down in the comments down below. Also, if you're liking the content that we're putting out, like, subscribe, and hit that little bell icon to be notified whenever we come off new content. Thank you for watching, and until next time, we'll see you later.